We got a question here from Trevor who asks, are we officially in the relegation battle? Avas, what do you reckon?
Not yet. I think that these 4 games have been very, very tough. I think a brave person would expect a couple of wins out of that, many points out of those 4 games. So I don't think so yet, but I think we'll be telling in a month's time whether we are or not. We're seeing where we are in a month's time. Because as we've been saying, these 3 home games, Wolves, Forest and West Ham, we've got to pick up something. If we are failing to compete with these teams, then we are competing with those teams below us. But then we got January, this big elephant in the room. We're relying so heavily on the idea that we will get someone in January. And we're hoping that, January will come, we'll get a player who can score some goals and we'll be fine. We're run by the Khans. They're going to probably nab someone cheap on the 31st of January. And good luck to you, Marco. I really hope it's not that way. And as Dom was saying in the podcast last week, you've got to get him in the first week. But if we can't hold our hopes that January is going to be what we think it's going to be, we need to pick up points. And so this next month after the international break will tell us whether we're looking down or up.
Elizabeth, are you mentally prepared for the arrival of Danny Ings in January?
No, is the answer. I'm not. But when he comes, I will welcome him with open arms.
Can I do think, Coops, to offer the flip, I think we're in this. I think we are being dragged into this, and it's that like horrible little cliche of sleepwalking, because I think actually wider media wise, I don't think anyone currently intuitively would say, oh yeah, Fulham are one of the teams that's in the relegation battle, but you can't disagree with the table. We've all played 12 games, we're 16th, and we're like deservedly 16th. Like there aren't many games in there where you look and think, oh, Fulham were unlucky. If anything, we're lucky to have 12 points because we probably shouldn't have beaten Everton on the opening day of the season. We probably didn't deserve a point at Brighton. And I think with the way the team currently is and the squad that we have and the way we're playing, I think we'll stay up. I don't think we'll go down. But if we stay up, I think we do it by default as opposed to like merit. I don't think we stay up because we were good enough to stay up. We stay up because there are some really shit teams in this division who are not prepared for Premier League football, and we are so lucky that they exist. Because if 2 of those promoted sides, so if you look at, I don't know, let's say Burnley and Sheffield United, the 2 finished top 2, were anywhere near the level that us and Bournemouth were last season, I think we could genuinely be down. But we are so lucky that none of them are up to scratch at the moment, because we'd be bang in trouble.
So I was just saying, I was looking at the table this time last year and who had how many points after 12 games. And what's really interesting, I mean, depressingly for us, I mean, we had 18 points at this stage. We also had 12 more goals at this stage, which is very depressing to look. But when I was looking at what teams had...
We're missing a player who's roughly around sort of 12 goals. I can't
probably could have scored a few of those.
My head. Yeah, sorry.
Probably getting a nice suntan as we speak. So I was looking at teams that had 12 points after 12 games and who they were. Now, one of them is ironically Aston Villa, but we know they were on their upsurge with Emery at this stage. No thanks to us getting rid of Gerrard for them. But Southampton had 12 after 12 and Leicester had 11 after 12. Leeds had 9 off 11 games at this stage. So we are, points-wise, doing what the relegated teams last year did. Now, the caveat being that last year, the 3 bottom teams at that stage all had 9 points, whereas now they're on like 4, 5, 6 points at most. So there is a discrepancy between the quality of those teams. But like, make no mistake, we're at relegation form. Now, as Dan said, I think by default we'll be all right. But any other season, we're struggling. And not, was it 10 goals after 12 games? It's not something Marco's used to either, let alone us. So how he reinvigorates this team it's huge for the rest of the season.
Also, we're a good managerial change from one of those really terrible teams, / a good window in January from one of those terrible teams away from them getting good. Like, we can't rule out, I don't think it will happen, but we can't rule out Sheffield United doing a Villa. Like, we can't, what they did last season, which is concerning. If anyone wants to like get really sad on this Monday, I would recommend comparing the points we've got this season from the points we got from the same fixtures last season. I did it yesterday because I thought it might cheer me up. But in this season, we got 12 points from our last 12 fixtures, and the same fixtures last season, we got 21 points from them.
Oh.
So, yeah, not looking good, is it?
No, I mean,
I think this is where we stand up, though. This is where we stand up and we say that this is unacceptable. Mm-hmm. Like this is what's making me really angry, and this is what, after I'd got over the apathy towards our performance yesterday, I was driving back home on my own. So you sat in your thoughts, and to think that we finished in 10th last season, and there has never been such a good feeling around our football club, and then to just bottle it all summer and screw the whole thing up, to screw 2 years worth of preparation for this moment. You know, we had that championship season under Marco where we were revitalised after years of terrible football. We came into the Premier League and we competed for the first time in over a decade. And then suddenly we just throw that all away. We just get rid of it, and we're like, right, we're back to being Fulham again. We're back to Fulham under the Carns, and this is how it's going to be. All whilst we embroil it in all of the other issues that go in with the club, with the ticket prices and the amount of time it's taken to put this stand up. Like, I just can't believe we've ended up here, given that, 6 months ago we were laughing. We thought, hang on a minute, we are back and we are in the Premier League for a long time. How are we here on the 13th of November?
Yeah, that goodwill has absolutely disappeared, hasn't it? From March and April, we were maybe not that late, but singing about Europe and having jokes about the potential of qualifying for Europe. And now over a summer in which Mitro was going, he was always going, and we knew that we were going to get a decent sum for him. So where is the preparation in terms of that? Why are we letting Polina hold a Bayern Munich shirt up, waiting to be signed off to go there on the last day of the transfer window without anyone in the lineup for us? It doesn't make any. The preparation that summer was awful, and I would not have blamed Marco for walking away, given, as Danny said, what he set up over those 2 years. It's so infuriating as well to see what Aston Villa are doing, and you can't help but feel a little bit jealous over them. They stayed up by the skin of their teeth, and they threw money into their team that summer. And it's proven, yes, they had a poor managerial choice, but once they got that right, which we already have right, they're flying. And you just think, what if? And then I also can't help feel jealous about teams like Wolves and Bournemouth, who've just put in performances because they've got that real togetherness. We are missing so many connections here. The only connection we really have is the fans and the team. They will applaud us. They know that we love them. We know that we're going to travel and turn up at every game. We have no connection with the owners. We are infuriated at the pricing of these tickets. We've got to take a next step in that, whatever that will be. And it just shows like a culture in this club of just mediocrity and acceptance that, yeah, we're Fulham. We're not going to go out and splash cash on players in the summer. We can consolidate this year. And it's like, no, this summer we were going to kick on. We were going to be an established top 10 team. And it's just a massive opportunity lost, because the striker or the players that we sign in January, are they going to really want to play for a team that's potentially fighting against relegation rather than trying to get into Europe? I think it really changes who we can potentially sign in January.
Yeah, no, it's a very, very valid point. And also the thing that arguably concerns me the most of our current situation is just how precarious we are. Say João Paulinho goes in January, which is a very big possibility that he does. We don't really know what's going on there. Only time will tell. An injury to Bernd Leno. These things can happen. And if they were to happen, we would be deeply, deeply, deeply in the shit. So, I mean, we can only hope that there's a huge January in store. We saw, obviously, with the Marco signing a new contract, that the Khans are capable of pulling out these surprises. And, I mean, we just hope and pray that it's going to be positive, because, yeah, if not, we're teetering in the balance right now. And it's I think fans are collectively starting to get a bit, a bit nervous.